Average Guy Air Guns here again with another air gun review. So here today we have the Benjamin Marauder pistol. It's 22 caliber, comes with an 8-shot magazine, and that's a really nice pistol. Only thing I've done to it so far is I have the AR-15 adapter for the stock and a Hogue stock on it. And I detuned it to 11 and a half, 12 pounds, or 11 and a half foot-pounds. Can't speak. For the scope, we have a UTG 4-16 by 44 mini SWAT. It's compact, works really good on this package. As I normally do, I'll talk about things I don't like about the gun, and then I'll talk about the things that I do like. First off, what I don't like is this stock. It'll work, but you definitely want to get this stock. I have bigger hands. It is very uncomfortable in my hand, and where your cheek would rest, your head's floating. There's nothing to rest with your sight picture where the scope is at. So this will get you by until you can afford a new stock. I do not like the trigger shape. Again, I have bigger hands, and this half moon shape, my fingers are a little bit too fat for it. Minor complaint. I also do not like the safety position. I don't like cross-bolt safeties. I'm left-handed, so in order to release the safety, I can't reach it. Can't reach it with my thumb. So I have to take my offhand and push it. What else don't I like? The factory tune on this thing. Crossman states that you can fill this gun to 3,000 PSI. So I first got it out of the box. I filled it to 3,000 PSI, and I experienced my first case of valve lock. I had to degas it in order to shoot it filled to 3,000 PSI. I filled it to 2,000 PSI, and I had a 10-12 shot usable string of 13 foot-pounds, 14 foot-pounds, somewhere around there. So I detuned it a little bit. I'm getting 11 and a half foot-pounds shooting 15.89 grain JSB Hades pellets. I wanted it to be sub 12 foot-pounds because my main purpose for getting this gun is to shoot birds indoors. And I don't want extra power passing through, blowing holes in the roof. Sub 12 foot-pounds is perfect for my application of this gun. What else don't I like? It doesn't have any baffles. It has an air stripper inside the tube, but it doesn't have any baffles. I'm not saying it's loud, but it could be quieter. I'm happy with it now. It doesn't bug the neighbors. It definitely, no one can tell what I'm doing indoors. It's a little louder than the Maximus that I have, both Maximuses that my kids have, I should say, that have suppressors, TKO suppressors on them. My last real complaint is the trigger stop screw. It's a little too long and it'll catch on your finger a little bit. A minor annoyance. Let's talk about what I do like about this gun. With this AR-15 stock, it is very comfortable to shoulder. This pistol grip fits in my hand nicely. It's very comfortable. The trigger is phenomenal. I haven't put it on a gauge or anything, but I would say it's breaking at just over a pound, between a pound and 2 pounds. Every bit as good as my impact. As far as break weight, first stage, when I first got it, did have a little bit of grip to it, but that's gone away. Definitely a match grade trigger. Definitely happy with that trigger. And it is very light, crisp, breaks like glass. Love the trigger. I love the fact that it's a repeater. That was one of the requirements. Needed a magazine for any follow-up shots because, despite what the internet says, I am just an average marksman. I do miss, and a nice follow-up shot is appreciated, especially after using the Maximus for my indoor bird shooting, and I have missed, and it takes a while to single load a pellet. Now that I have got it detuned to sub 12 foot-pounds, I'm getting 16 shots within a 20 foot per second spread. Usable. I say 16 shots per fill because that's 2 full magazines. It's actually 22 shots per fill with an 18 foot per second spread. Not too shabby. I plan on, in the future, I'm going to regulate this gun. I'm going to fill it to 3,000 PSI, and if the stock valve system will take it, that's all I'll do to it. If not, I'll have to get a new valve. But that should get me more shots, especially since I'm not going for max power, I'm going for low power. My favorite thing about this gun, shockingly, is the accuracy. This little pistol is dead nuts. I cannot believe the accuracy that I'm getting out of a Crossman barrel. I've only shot it at 30 yards. I don't think with sub 12 foot-pounds I need to extend my range further than that. And my intended use for indoor bird shooting with this pistol, I will not be taking any shots over 30 yards. If you're thinking about getting a P-Rod, I would say definitely do it. This little pistol has amazed me since I pulled it out of the box. Yes, the tune sucks. Crossman tunes generally do coming out of the factory. The Marauder sucked. I had to tune that. I had to tune this. But got a decent tune on it right now, and it's putting out phenomenal accuracy. This is more accurate than the Marauder was, by far. At 30 yards, this is way more accurate than the Marauder was when I first had it. Before I put the Marmot Militia, which is now Wicked Air Rifles hammer forged barrel. By the way, Wicked Air Rifles does make a hammer forged barrel for this, but I might not get it because this barrel is so accurate. I don't know. I might put it on there. That'll be further on down the road. It's definitely going to get regulated before a new barrel gets put on it. Like I said, I'm in love with this pistol. Show you how it cycles. The bolt, nice and smooth, typical Marauder. I definitely do not have a pellet in there. I did swap the bolt over to left hand because I'm left-handed. I do have the Marauder set up for righty, but I bench rest shoot that most of the time, so I keep my my trigger finger on the trigger, and my offhand cycles the bolt. For this, it's going to be more of indoors, walking around, leaning up against objects to shoot, so I want that. So I set it up for that. So here's how loud or quiet it is. You're not going to offend your neighbors. Has a little bark to it. That said, here's some footage of the accuracy. Up first is the Crossman Premiers from the tin, and we'll be shooting at 20 yards. Not a horrible group by any means, but it'll do better. Up next is the Predator Polymags. Everybody else's review of this pistol says it shoots these fairly well. Here's what I got out of them. Again, a fairly decent group at 20 yards. Here's the coveted JSB Hades pellets. Everybody says that these things work phenomenal, and I'm going to agree with them. This is a horrible group for these pellets in this pistol. I've finally figured out why, and I'll tell you in a little bit. Here's the Air Arms Diablo Fields. I told you this little pistol was accurate. Now I'll be shooting the 15.89 grain JSBs. Another good group at 20 yards. Now let's push these Crossman Premiers back to 30 yards. Unfortunately, I ran out of shoot and seed targets, so I got to use these little orange things. I really think if I sort these pellets, I can get the flyers to go away. Up next at 30 is the Predator Polymags. Not too shabby, minus a flyer. I tend to always get a flyer with them. Here's the JSB Hades at 30 yards. This is when I realized something was wrong with these pellets. This is not a very good group with these pellets. I've gotten way better results with these, and then I realized something. My first tin of Hades pellets I lubed for my Marauder because it requires lube pellets. I went through that tin and bought 2 more tins, only lubing 1 tin. My first group with these was with unlubed pellets, so here is a group with lubed pellets. This is the accuracy I'm used to seeing with the Hades pellets in my P-Rod. Let's see how these Air Arms do at 30 yards. Not too bad at all out of a pistol. Alright, let's see how these 15.89 grain JSBs do at 30. Talk about a horizontal group. I think I need to test these a little bit more. That'll do it for this video. As you can see, the P-Rod is a highly accurate little pistol, and if you were thinking about getting one, definitely, I highly recommend you get it. See you guys at the next video.